We're live.
Hi, everybody. Happy Sunday.
Yes, today we are excited to talk to you about two cruises we just came back from. And the big question is, will we ever sail Sun Princess or any of the Sphere-class Princess ships ever again? And will we ever try Celebrity ever again? Join us today. We're going to talk all about that and take your questions as well about both those experiences. Browser failed to play. Okay. I guess you don't get the intro today. You just got a black screen.
And just saw us staring down at our computer screens getting ready. Sorry. Well.
Can you sing the jingle?
No, but maybe some of you can for us. I know that every time Bruno hears the jingle, he likes to bark at it. So he's happy sitting in his little spot right now. So I guess we'll just go without the jingle.
Exactly. Hopefully we don't have some of the tech problems we had last time. So I did check the speed. I think our internet's working a little bit better this time around. Okay. So let's hope it stays that way. We're going to talk a lot about cruise ships and cruise line today. And we were recently on the Celebrity Apex. Oh, I just hear someone saying that they got the jingle. So Bruce is saying that, there you go. So you got part of the jingle then today, probably.
Sorry, guys.
We didn't get it.
I guess, yeah, that's what Heather's saying too. I guess we just don't know how to do it. We've been so busy traveling and we haven't done a live in such a long time. We don't know how to get it all set up today.
There you go. But I'm Jerry. This is Jill.
I'm Jill. We are the Cruising Canucks, and welcome and thanks for joining us.
This is our Sunday Live that becomes our podcast, Banter Onboard, for the rest of the week. When you miss it live, it's still available in recording, so you can listen to us over and over again if that's your torture. And yeah, so we were back from a cruise.
We got home last night and just sort of settling in today. I have 3 out of the 4 suitcases unpacked. I still didn't get to the 4th one yet.
Yeah, just over 30 hours ago, we were still standing on the Sun Princess.
Yeah, and the sun is the word for it because we left sunny, gorgeous, warm, sunny Florida to come home, and our drive from the airport to our house last night, we drove through snow squalls. So welcome back to Canada. Yeah,
we woke up this morning and for the first time saw daylight in Northern Ontario in a couple of weeks, and there was snow on the ground as well.
Yeah, just a little bit. I think it's melted away now, but there was just a little dusting on it last night. But.
So today's show, we are going to, first of all, take all your questions, because I know a lot of people have the Sun Princess booked and they have questions about it. The ship has changed quite a bit since it was in the Mediterranean, that they've moved dining facilities and they're doing some new things. So we saw all that firsthand last week. And the week before that, we tried Celebrity for the first time. So we're hoping we get a discussion going with all of you about what you want to know, what we thought, all these things, and will we do it ever again? It's the big question. We do have a couple housekeepings. We'll zip through those just for the sake of getting things done. Oh, I still got the comment on the screen. There we go. And updates. Journey Secret Word was one update, and Wanda helped us with that, so you still have time to get into that secret letter.
Thank
you.
I
think that's done. And this past week, we had our final video come out of that series, which is us in Boston. There is no secret letter, though, in Boston.
But if you don't know what the green monster is, you have to watch this video, I guess. I didn't know.
And starting later this week, we're going to have a few different videos out if everything goes according to plan. We got a busy week of traveling with family plans as well as getting back to work, but we're hoping to have some content out on the Sun Princess, a tour, maybe even a little bit of what we liked and didn't like, which you're going to get a little bit of here in a few minutes.
We'll give you a sneak peek of that here, but we are going to do a whole video.
And then, and on top of that, we've got the winner for Journey to the Secret Word we're going to be announcing this week. So we got a whole bunch of stuff coming out this week. So
it'll be a busy week.
Stay tuned. Comment of the week. Nicole saying, challenge to Mr. and Mrs. Canuck participating in the love and marriage game if there's ever a clean enough version for us.
I didn't know you pulled that comment out. Yeah, we've been asked that a few times, Nicole. I don't think that either one of us are brave enough.
They may have to rename the show the Love, Marriage, and Divorce Show.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't think I could do that.
We are so different that it would be interesting for sure to see how that game plays out.
Yeah, we would lose. I'm pretty sure we would lose.
But then during the show, we would be arguing about who's right with the right answer and who's wrong, I'm sure.
True.
So it might be worth its value in entertainment.
Well, and I tend to speak pretty off the cuff, so it could probably get embarrassing really fast. I don't think it would be a good venue for me.
Yeah. Not me. I'm quiet, reserved. Yep.
Okay.
Trivia. Ready?
Yes.
We'll do some quick trivia for you.
I hope it's easy.
Sun Princess related. In what year was the Sun Princess the largest cruise ship in the world?
I would have a clue.
Never clue.
1978. I don't even know when the original Sun Princess was.
How do you know it's the original?
Oh, I thought that's what you were asking.
How many Sun Princes have there been?
I have no idea that either.
3.
Oh my gosh, really? Okay.
There's been 3 Sun Princesses, yeah.
What years? You have years like plural, so there's 2 years
Yeah.
at least that the Sun Princess was the largest. Okay. Wanda and Paul are saying 2.
And it's a trick question because it's not the current Sun Princess.
Yeah, I see. I was smart enough to know that you weren't asking me about the Sun Princess that I just got off of, that you were asking me about one that I've never sailed on before.
So this Sun Princess is not the biggest in the world or never was, but the second Sun Princess in 95 and 96 was the biggest cruise ship in the world.
There you go.
There you go.
95 and 96.
So related to that, though, one more little question then. So
God.
where in the list of world's largest cruise ships does the current Sun Princess that we just got off, where does it rank?
15.
So somewhere between 1 and 100.
15. That's my guess.
15th is your guess?
15.
I'm looking to see. Ruth's back on 1976.
Yeah, see, Ruth, that's where I was thinking too.
Let's see if anybody can get where it ranks.
Where did it rank?
You're 50. Let me give everybody a hint. 25th. So it's between what you said and Peggy said.
Oh, so it's higher than 15 and lower than 25.
And higher than Paul.
I'm going to say 18.
So it's higher than you and lower than Peggy.
Oh my gosh. He's going to keep me doing this. 21.
The answer is the Sun Prince is currently the 21st largest cruise ship in the world.
Third luck. I got it on the third guess.
So between 21. Shannon and Peggy.
Okay.
Oh.
You and your trivia, I tell you.
There we go. Now we're on to what everybody wants to know about, which was our cruises we just got off of.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's time to start asking questions about the new cruises we just got off of.
Okay. So
let's start with the Celebrity Apex first.
Okay. Our very first
Celebrity cruise ever?
Yep. We had an interior room, and I have to say probably the most spacious interior room. Loved it. Tons of storage. Very happy with our cabin. Probably could have been in that interior cabin way longer. It was a 6-night cruise, and I think we would have comfortably been able to be in there a little bit longer. Had we been too much longer, I would have run out of closet space for sure, though. But nice space.
So what did you like about the cruise ship? The cabin?
What did I like about the cruise ship?
You liked?
Loved the cabin. Loved the decor of the whole cruise ship. Loved the sink or the glassed-in pool adult area. What do they call that on Celebrity? Is it Sanctuary? Because I wanted to call it Sanctuary. I think it is.
I don't remember going to it.
But my biggest love of all was definitely the Eden that so many of you have told me I would fall in love with, and I did. I loved that back Eden venue area. We did a lot of entertainment back there most evenings, and then during the day, just watching the cruise ship sailing out there from those beautiful glass window views was gorgeous. I really solarium. Thank you, Bruce. Yeah, the adults area is called the solarium.
I remember it
very
now.
Nice.
Now that Bruce said the word, I remember. I didn't remember what you were talking about.
Anyways, it's air conditioned, but there's pools and there's 2 hot tubs, and it's comfy seating in that solarium. So I really appreciated that, and I really enjoyed their theater. I thought their production shows were good. I loved they had the circular stage like a lot of the ships are going with now with the big wraparound screens. And I thought they did the best use of those wraparound screens that I've ever seen on any cruise line, and made the sets change and interact with the singers and dancers. And I would say that all the performers, whether they were in the main theater or elsewhere on the ship, were very talented, high quality people. Sorry, Bruno's barking as I'm talking.
I'm wondering if he wants a bathroom break. So
okay.
We'll see.
We'll keep them going here.
Yep.
Anyways, that's what I loved about the Apex. Oh, I still have more. Can I keep talking?
Imagine it.
I'll say one more thing. My other thing that I loved about it was in your included options, you get to go to 4 main dining rooms that are all included, but they're themed restaurants, and they have a certain themed items on the one side of the menu. And I really enjoyed that. So I was able to go to a French restaurant one night, go to an Italian another night. Okay. Anyway, so I enjoyed that option as opposed to being in one dining room at the same table every night. Now you may say what you like.
Oh, I have to say what I liked?
Yeah.
I liked, best part was Bruce and Tawny were there with us.
Oh, that was wonderful.
So that was the best part. I liked the modern feel to the ship. I thought a lot of effort was put into making it look aesthetically really nice. I thought that all the spaces were well decorated, I guess is the word. Is the top area of the ship, the lounge area, the garden area. What was it called? The garden lounge. I'm sure Bruce will fill me in what it was called. The terrace, maybe the garden terrace is the right word. That was beautiful up there.
Hot though.
Yeah.
We didn't use it very often because it was so hot up there.
I thought the boat was nice and stable. Didn't move back and forth a lot, which is most ships are like these days, except one. We'll get to that one. What else did I like? I liked Eden. Eden was really good. Yeah. And I liked the nightclub venue. I thought it had a lot of potential. That was really interesting. It reminded me of the Cabaret Rouge on MS.
The club, the two
club.
level.
Yeah, the rooftop garden. Bruce is correcting me. It's not the terrace rooftop garden, but the club. It's literally called the club in just away from the what's it called? Piazza,
atrium, plaza.
No, plaza. I thought that was nice too.
Did you find the seats comfortable?
No.
He complained about the seats in almost every venue we went to. They were all very pretty and very modern, but he did not enjoy the comfort level because he couldn't carry around his lazy boy chair.
I was working up to that. I was saying It was aesthetically pleasing, but not comfortable was where I was heading with that eventually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just teasing you.
And what did you not like?
Probably my biggest pet peeve was that we had bought the drink package with the internet included, and with that comes the classic drink package. Every single bar we went to had drinks that were $17 and above, and our classic drink package only covered $10 drinks. And so multiple times, multiple venues, I asked multiple staff members if there was a menu of the drinks that were included in our drink package, and never once on the 6 days did anybody give me a menu. So you're always guessing. You'd have to go to the bar and say, does my package cover mojito, or can I have and you never knew. So that was a little, I think it's an easy thing that they should solve. We've been on many cruises that have multiple levels of drink packages, and it's usually very well printed and displayed, so you know what you can and cannot have, or what you would have to pay extra for. That was my biggest pet peeve.
I thought of something else that I liked a lot.
Oh, okay.
I like the way that they use the theater. It's got the new round, big projection screens, and the theater that pokes out reminds me of Holland America's Pinnacle Class. But I thought they used the space way better than Holland America.
I already said that.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
Good job. Like that a lot. I was so fooled by how good the background screen was that there were some nights I stared at that for like forever, saying, is that a real set or is that just a projection? Because it looked that real that I thought it was actual staging, but it was actually just a projection. But it didn't look like. I kept looking at different angles, and it looked really good.
Yeah, no, that was.
So you said that?
I already did say all
so
that.
So I can't say that one.
No, well, you can. You can agree with me. It doesn't happen often, but it's okay. We're allowed to agree every now and then.
As you were like answering the last question for a couple hours there, I was thinking of something.
Okay.
I was thinking that we should do this live, kind of like a silent disco. Where like people have the option they can turn on the red channel.
They can listen to me or you.
Or me talk. We'll see how many people will be on my channel versus your channel.
So funny. Speaking of that, they did do a silent disco, and they did it both times indoors in the main atrium area. And I kept saying, like, why aren't they doing this up on deck? We're in a Caribbean cruise. It's gorgeous outside. And the best silent discos I've ever done have been outdoor deck parties. And that was a bit of a hit and a miss for me that it was in this tiny little area.
I see that Brian and Athena have joined us. They've been a little bit late. Hopefully they're out picking up turkeys and meatloaf.
For Thanksgiving this week.
Things that were a miss for me. Where do I start? Well, I didn't make a list. But the drink thing bothers me as much because I don't drink any fancy cocktails. So that was kind of not a big deal for me. Miss for me was the multiple dining rooms.
You did not like it, whereas I loved it. Big surprise.
I like being in the same dining room, same wait staff, all the time, and getting to know them, and they get to know you as far as your eccentric ways. And we didn't have that experience at all, so it wasn't my big thing at all. I didn't like the shortage of entertainment on the ship, like as far as little musical events. Like there was big stuff like Eden's big productions and the stage shows, and even the plaza felt bigger than life sometimes. It was more than just a band. It was a big event in the plaza. I kind of like those little cozy little areas you tuck in somewhere and listen to a guitar player or piano player, and you kind of find those off-beaten spots, I found those really tough to find on the Apex.
Yeah.
It really wasn't good.
It wasn't consistent. Every now and then we'd find someone, but it was just random for sure.
And what else did I not like? I don't like the shape of the bow. But that's just me.
Ridiculous.
I prefer my bows more curved in.
Sherry's saying I'm right. He doesn't like change. He doesn't like change. Why do you think our first 20 cruises were all on the same cruise line? Yes, he does not like change. He struggles with it.
The food itself, food quality for me, and I, as you know, I have a very, very, very simple palate of a few things I like. It wasn't really my thing. I really was hoping for something different. I'm not sure what it was, but I had heard so much about celebrity food. That was one of the things I was looking forward to. I was like, I think it's because we kept moving dining rooms and I didn't know what was going on. So I could never catch up with the menus.
Whereas I loved it because I was able to have like scallops in the French restaurant that was specific to there, and they were delicious. And I tried escargot for the first time because I've never done that before. So Bruce convinced me to give them a try. Mm-hmm.
Chicken nuggets were awful.
They were probably the worst chicken nuggets I've ever seen. They were like a minced meat thing. They did have them, but they weren't edible.
Yeah, it was like something you buy at like a discount store. It was like minced.
Oh, it was awful.
Yeah.
I mean, you did find it in the children's area, did you not? Well, the buffet.
The children should get to eat good nuggets too, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, there were some children on that ship. Not a whole lot, but there were children there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What I liked also, I'm jumping back and forth between likes and not likes, I guess.
Okay.
What I liked as well was the crowd. The other passengers.
You mean it wasn't too crowded?
No, I just meant the people that were there. Like we always say that sometimes the other passengers on the ship can make or break the experience for you.
We met some wonderful
people.
people.
A good example, we've done the Morella cruise, for example, with a British crowd. It was like, wow, this was kind of refreshing and it was so positive. We've done cruises on cruise lines where it's like, my gosh, it's not my crowd at all. It's like crazy young people drinking all day long. So this was kind of my speed for where I'm at. I think that their demographic, I think they aim for maybe a little bit.
You enjoyed the wild bridal shower party that first night at the atrium. There were a few people having a really good time.
That's what I mean, though. It was it was a healthy mix, I guess. There was people that wanted a little bit slower speed and sit down, relax, and have a cocktail and watch something. And there was people that wanted to get up on the dance floor and dance. It was a nice balance. It wasn't all crazy or all going to bed at 9 o'clock, right? It was a really, I really liked the healthy balance of the demographics of what sailed on Celebrity. I felt it was kind of right in my wheelhouse. Yeah. No, not your wheelhouse? You want everything partying.
No. Oh, you're funny.
One thing I really, really loved, and ironically, it had nothing to do with Celebrity. Well, kind of did. Had to do with their parent company. Perfect Day. I went in skeptical. For years, you've heard me say, I just call it Coco K because I'm not going to call something a perfect day. I thought that was all publicity. It was all over the top. And my mind was blown. Perfect Day at Coco Cay was pretty close to being a perfect day. It was phenomenal.
They have figured out how to do a private island, in our opinion, guys. There was tons of options and wonderful food and wonderful service and beautiful, beautiful island done up nice. They started off nice. You get there in port and the captain comes on and announces you're there, and all of a sudden they start singing they start playing the jingle in the whole cruise ship that you're at Perfect Cay for Coco Cay. Yeah, before we even got off the ship, like we were just in our cabin getting our snorkeling gear ready to leave, and you could hear this music playing in the whole ship. But yeah, it was a beautiful day. It's a gorgeous place.
Someone says they can't hear us, so if the rest of you can't hear us, let us know. Let me see. It appears on our end we're still talking, but let us know if it's Brian says he can't hear us. So,
is our sound okay? Can you let us know, somebody?
Yeah. But yeah, that was in a nutshell. That's Apex. We did do 2 cruises. We want to kind of cover both. We're just going to kind of give it steps. Peggy says she can hear us, so
thank you, Peggy.
Hopefully, it's just a Brian thing. And so, yeah, that was the Apex. Would I go on a Celebrity cruise again is the big question. Everybody says they can hear us, so that's good. I'll keep talking before you start talking.
Okay.
I would go on a Celebrity cruise again.
Okay.
I would even go on this class of ship again, I believe. I though, it's a new word I came up with. Although I think that I would want to pay the same price as I pay for a Holland America cruise or a Princess cruise. I'm not sure that I'd be willing to pay more to be on a Celebrity cruise. I didn't think it added that much more that it was worth the extra price that sometimes it is when you go on a Celebrity cruise.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I agree. I had a great time and I would do it all over again. But I wouldn't be willing to pay more than what we normally budget for our cruises.
Yeah.
which is why we got on in the first time, because we've been looking, like most of you know, we've been looking at celebrity cruises for the last 2 or 3 years, and we hadn't found one that came in at a reasonable price, but this one did for some reason, and so we jumped on it, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So if we could get it again for the same price or comparable to what other cruises are charging, then I would definitely do it again.
For sure.
And you would do it and eat at all the 4 different restaurants with me every night and not complain?
No. I want to stick to one of those 4 restaurants and just stay there.
Which I think is an option. We did see that some people did that, but you don't have to. So
Yeah.
I loved that you didn't have to.
And yeah, I'm just seeing a comment there that the sound's fine, but there's lots of commercials that they haven't seen before. So I'm not sure. YouTube must be doing something. So I'm going to have to look at the settings after this live, make sure that there's nothing funny going on.
Yeah, that is weird. Sorry about that.
Oh, good question. Mark just asked us, did the magic carpet move? As far as we know, it doesn't move because we never saw it move.
I know. So we were a little disappointed about that, Mark, because we were the same. You want to put that question up so people can see? We were the same as you. We were on it the whole 6 days, and it stayed on the pool deck the whole time. And we thought, like, we had a tender in Grand Cayman, so we thought for sure it would be used for the tender day at least. But even then it wasn't used. So I don't know if it stuck up there on deck 14 or whatever, because yeah, it didn't move the whole time we were there. But we did do a beautiful sail away from there one evening, our last day of the cruise, when we left Coco Cay.
Mm-hmm.
It was very beautiful. Sail away. It's a nice spot to be for a sail away party.
For sure, yeah. But I'm not sure if it's not working. We never did ask for clarification from anybody. We did try to ask a staff member, and we really didn't get a clear answer. So
yeah, I think she was confused about what we were asking.
But yeah, we never did see it move. I think it was stuck on deck 14, was it? The whole time?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it never moved from what we could tell. So that was one of the features I was looking forward to, because I thought, yeah, you just said all that, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. He likes to repeat me because he doesn't listen to me. So.
I have nothing good to say, so I just say what you say.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Ruth is saying she agrees about celebrity and she loves Princess more.
Mm-hmm.
And KT wants to know when we're going on a Virgin cruise. I have opened up my world of change to allowing the possibility of a Virgin cruise.
There you go.
There you go. That's further. That's a big step. That's
yeah,
right.
Because a year ago he would tell me never, ever, ever am I going to do it. So now he's thinking he might do it. So
I'd be well if we can find a celebrity cruise or a Virgin cruise that works. Then I think I would book it.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. So it's in the play. It's in the in the queue?
In the queue
of cruises to try for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. And Stacy agrees with Perfect Day as well.
Going again in February, going to try the adults only Hideaway Beach. What did you do while you were there? So we went to the snorkeling beach, which was, what's the name of that now? Chill Beach.
Chill Beach.
That's where we went because we were told that's where the best snorkeling was. So I went snorkeling in the morning there. And while I was snorkeling, Mr. Canuck went off exploring for a little bit and came back and he said, I found the best pool ever. And so we relocated after I'd had enough of the ocean, and we went to the pool that had a swim up bar to it. And it kind of looked like a lazy river pool because it was so big and so many nooks and crannies, but we hung out there for a bit.
Yeah, if you've ever been to a 5-star resort in the Caribbean, like an all-inclusive that had these big elaborate pools that stretch out with palm trees and islands, and
they had tables and benches in the pool, so you could go to the bar and bring your drink back and just sit in the pool with your drink. So yeah, we really enjoyed it. We ate out of we had the chicken sandwich that everybody says you must have while you're there, and I do agree with everyone. It's delicious. I had the brownie with fudge on top of it for dessert. Oh, so good. Anyways, we really enjoyed our day there, as you can tell.
Stray Dog says baby steps, but thinks we'll enjoy.
But thinks you will enjoy Virgin Cruises.
And Sailors 365 are on board the Enchanted Princess right now. They just missed Grand Turks and have a sea day, so they've decided to join us on day 8 of 10. So thanks for joining us. And Ruth is going to be on Virgin soon. She's going to let us know all about it.
Next Sunday, Ruth. Woo! Did you get your orange dress purchased?
Orange.
Or not orange, sorry, wrong cruise line. Red. Orange is for Holland America.
We'll see if Virgin makes Ruth blush, and then we'll make a decision after that.
There you go.
Yep. Okay, Sun Princess.
Sun Princess.
Okay, I think we disagree on this one.
Yeah, I think we disagree on this one.
That given any other option to cruise on another cruise line that I've been on before and like, I would probably not go on the Sun Princess again. Would you?
I would go on the Sun Princess again. Is there problems and still growing pains going on in the Sun Princess? Yes. So be prepared for that if you are booked on it. But overall, I mean, it's a beautiful ship. There's lots of different new things, and I had fun exploring it. And I really felt like 7 days on it wasn't quite long enough for me. So I'd be quite willing to go back and do another 7 days. But Jerry has a list of concerns, so we'll let him go through his list of concerns, and I will rebuttal most of them. We're going to have a little debate going on. I did not make a list, but I'm sure I'll be able to comment on everything he says.
Washroom taps on the Sun Princess.
Oh yeah. So I think we should do a video. I think I'm not sure who it was.
I've vlogged it one day in our vlogs.
Okay. Somebody mentioned to us, it was either Scott or Matt that we were traveling with, and said, we think you should do a video. So the soap and the water comes out of the same tap, but not the same time. You have to swipe your hand to the right to get the soap. Then wait a second, go over to the left and scoop in to get the water to start running and washing your hands. And trust me, a lot of people, thousands of people, were having problems with this.
You would have people in the bathroom that could only get water, and they were fighting to find soap. There'd be people who stand there with hands full of soap but couldn't get water. Other people that could only make the air also came out of what looked like a tap. There was hot air coming out of a tap.
To the side, yeah.
That was another tap. So you had like these multiple things going on. You had people drying soap. You had people with water.
And what we were concerned about, we both saw in both the women's and the men's restrooms, was that because it was a challenge for a lot of people, they just gave up trying to wash their hands. So then you're fearful that there's going to be germs spread throughout the ship.
Yep.
So I did notice partway through the journey that it seemed like there was more like bottles of soap being put in. Certain bathrooms had just a bottle of soap that you can touch and get soap. So hopefully they almost need a little bit of an instruction manual on how to use these things for people.
Oh, okay. No lounge. For those like the Vista Lounge, the Fusion Lounge on the Princess ships, where at the aft of the ship they have a lounge they can use for comedy or a spillover area for entertainment for musicians or different type of group events. No lounge.
Yeah, that's a disappointment. Now they have made the Princess Live a little bit bigger, and they're trying to use the Princess Live for pretty much everything from game shows to comedians to even having musical acts in there. There's constantly something going on in the Princess Live, which can be good if you get a seat and you get there early enough, but lots of times there's standing room only in that venue.
Less live music around the ship.
We definitely found that for sure.
Yeah, it was limited to a few venues. Sometimes it was an inconvenient time. There'd be live music like during the dinner hours when you wanted it after dinner. We couldn't find it.
Or because there wasn't the space available for them to go into certain lounges, they put different music venues in funny places. So for instance, is there is an acoustic duo there called Tapioca Duo. They were phenomenal. They mainly just sang like soft love songs, Ed Sheeran type music, that sort of thing. And they were wonderful in the piazza when they were there. But they had them in the Irish pub one night, and we went to try to listen to them. And the Irish pub is so loud, and you couldn't hear her singing over everybody talking and everything else. They also had them up on the pool deck, and with the wind sound going, you couldn't hear them there. So yeah, they needed that lounge for them to perform in.
The piazza. So, for those that like the progression of Princess's Piazza, that's gone from just being a quiet venue with somewhere to nibble or somewhere to have a drink and enjoy that space, that has evolved into the newer ships that have gone to bigger events and people crowding the piazza at multiple levels and dance parties and stuff, to now is a next level beyond that. Sun Princess is taking it to a whole nother level. They've even put stadium seating in the piazza. Like, it has become...
They have stadium seating up there.
It has become a focus of the ship that everything happens in there, and it's just too much for me, too busy. It's no longer a piazza. It's kind of like, it's like a carnival atrium to me.
Which, for some things it works, but for a lot of things it doesn't, especially when some of the paid specialty restaurants are right there. So like at one point there was this big loud show and people yelling and screaming, and I forget what the performance was, but we just walked by. But I looked over and there was people that were in one of their new sushi restaurants having this fine dining dinner experience over top of that whole volume and noise. And I'm thinking, I looked at Mr. Canuck, and we were going to get reservations to give it a try one night. And I said, I don't want to have dinner here, because it just looked like you were having dinner in the middle of a
game show.
Yeah. Or a gymnasium in a high school was what it felt like to me. But I mean, it didn't look like that, but that was the volume level.
Yeah. So if that's not your thing, then you're not going to like the Sun Princess, because it's gone into another level for sure with what's going on in the Piazza. Best feature on the ship. This is a positive. I think the new dome is like game-breaking, amazing feature. Yes.
Beautiful. We loved it. Spent a lot of time in there. Spent time there during the day. Very relaxing during the day. They start the mornings off with doing yoga classes and stretching exercises there, and then everybody's just sort of chilled. That pool that sort of goes from inside the dome to outside and forward. Really enjoyed that pool. It was never overly busy. Loved it.
I have another positive after that one. Good Spirits is back in a big way, and I love what they've done with it.
They have its own separate venue. So, in the past, in some of the cruise ships, Good Spirits is right in the heart of the atrium. And again, with all the stuff going on in the atrium, you can't really just sort of relax and enjoy your cocktail, or even listen to the sort of show that Good Spirits try to put on when they try to teach you how to make them, or the history or of the cocktails and the ingredients and stuff like that. So having their own little private closed in room venue was beautiful. We thought when we first toured the ship and got on during the day that it would be too small, because we didn't think it was all that large. But actually, we never went in there that we couldn't get a seat. So I think they got that bang on.
Yeah, for sure. And when there wasn't live music happening, there's always music being played on speakers around the ship. Huge improvement. Like, we've jumped ahead 50, 60 years in the music that's being played on board the ship.
Definitely more modern music and stuff that's, you would have heard in the last 20 years on the radio.
And, this is a negative. So to get onto the Piazza dance floor, you have to go up the most subtle little slope you've ever seen, but it makes a big difference. Like, if this table here is the Piazza, you've got to come up.
You can't see the table.
Oh, there's a ramp that comes up, like very subtle, but enough that if you're walking up in heels or dress shoes or anything else, you're not paying attention, you can trip very easily on it.
Yeah, unfortunately, we saw a man take a really bad fall while we were on board, to the point that we were afraid there was a head injury involved, the way he smashed his head. So yeah, that's a safety concern, because you don't notice it. It's very subtle to look at it until you're actually stepping it. Do you realize that, oh, wow. So we learned that quickly. No,
we didn't. I see a question. We did not try Spellbound. So, and we'll get to the specialty restaurants in a second, I think, for sure. So yeah, we didn't try that. Just Sailor had a question about that. This is going to be a really odd one. We don't spend a lot of time on this one. Body wash dispenser. When you pump the soap out of it in the shower, it only moves like this much. And we had two different cabins. We'll talk about that a different day. But they were both the same. So it wasn't just because something in the cabin. But I must have had to hit this thing about 200 times to get enough soap in my hand for body wash. So it's a small thing, but it's a weird thing.
But I found the same thing on the Apex too. I was trying to wash my hair with the shampoo or the conditioner they provide. It took a long time to get anything out of their dispensers.
And on the theme of music, so we went to a deck party, and was it ever, again, modernized by 50 to 60 years of music advancement, that it was more modern music, a more progressive dance party, a lot more people involved, I think. Up on the dome, is that what you're talking about? No, up on the deck. Remember we were up on the deck that night?
Oh,
and they had the rings.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, that was fun.
So that was a lot of fun. So the only problem is they didn't move any of the lounge chairs out of the way. So they had a deck party, nowhere to dance.
Yeah, that's true. There was very limited dancing space. Yeah, that's true.
The buffet is smaller, and they serve you. You cannot touch any of the food in the buffet,
which I loved.
The only thing is, for me, portion control was a problem, because they just scoop it up and drop it. I know you can sit there saying maybe a little less of that, a little more of that, but then you're just going to slow down the whole process. So whatever they gave me, they gave me. But to their credit, there was enough staff serving in that smaller buffet that it moved really quick. So despite its size, it was still pretty efficient in getting you some food.
Yeah, I would say the only thing I didn't like about the buffet, because I love the serving part, but I would say because of the size of it, there wasn't as many options as, say, if you're using the buffet on the Enchanted Princess, where it seems to be a lot more food options. I think there was less food options on this buffet.
The O'Malley's bar is now at least 2 to 3 times larger than the original on the Enchanted Princess.
Yeah, probably double, I would say.
But the problem I found there is that the bar is more of the focus now. It used to be a small little bar in the corner. The bar is a big feature now. Mm-hmm. And all the additional seats and people, it's become a very loud venue. And so the emphasis on the Irish music in there seems less than ever. And in fact, they're also putting music there that's not even Irish music anymore.
Yeah, that was our biggest complaint, was if you go to the Irish pub, you want to hear an Irish band. So we purposely planned a night to go there and have dinner and listen to the Irish band. And a piano player that from Crooners came and performed. And it was just, it was wrong. It didn't feel right. So it took us a long time before we were able to, and it's hard to get in there, even though it is bigger. It's still, you have to plan if you want to get a seat in that venue. So it took us many times before we actually got a seat and listened to the Irish band, probably day 6 of our cruise, by the time we got that squeezed in.
Main dining room, there is 2 of them. And they feel bigger just because the way the space is, they're more wide open. There's more space between tables. It feels like just a larger thing. And instead of a closed-in spot with low ceilings, it feels bigger and more. But
they have nice nooks and crannies. Yeah. The way we were really impressed with how they designed the main dining room and spaced it out. And, there were different sections, and it never felt like you were in this loud venue. You could be in there and have a nice conversation with the people that you were cruising with, and it felt enjoyable for sure.
Yeah. So, and I think even with some slight improvements as they kind of mature with the ship and moving some of the tables around, you could almost get to a point in that dining room where you'd never have those situations where it's table after table side by side, a couple little adjustments, and you can be just a perfect dining experience in that main dining room. So, yeah, so good on them for that change there. Mm-hmm. The air conditioning in the cabin was fantastic.
Fantastic.
Yeah, but some of the
nice and cool.
Some of the newer ships, it's really tough to get the air conditioning where you want it, and this was not the case there. It was really good.
When we got on and boarded on the ship and we went to our cabin and dropped off our stuff, our room was really warm. Like, I think we put out the thermometer and it said something like it was 24 degrees Celsius in our room. And so we turned the air conditioner right down low and went out and had lunch. And by the time we came back an hour or 2 later to unpack, it had totally cooled down to what we would normally want it to be. So yeah, the air conditioning was very efficient, which I guess you would expect on a new ship.
The Princess beds feel less comfortable.
They do. I don't know if they've gone with different beds or not, but I've always loved the Princess beds. And these were not bad beds, don't get me wrong, but they weren't soft as what I as comfy as the ones we're used to.
Yeah, you used to be able to just melt into a Princess bed and just get a beautiful night's sleep. These ones weren't as comfy. They're okay.
They weren't bad by any means. They were good quality, I'm sure, but they weren't the Princess comfort that we've learned to love.
The ship for us was very unstable for all 7 days. I don't know how else to say it. The ship did a lot of moving all the time, which I thought was really odd for a big ship. I expected those big ships are usually like plow through the water. I don't know if it's the change in the hull with the weather we had. And we're also hearing that wasn't a problem in the Mediterranean because we asked the crew about it because it did bother us enough. Mm-hmm. Like I was a little bit seasick every single day, which I've been
quite a few people that were seasick and emotioned on our cruise, and yet it looked calm outside.
Yeah, we didn't have any weather. Like, don't get us wrong, there was no stormy weather, but we were still moving a lot. And we've heard from people that are on the ship now a week after we've been there, and they said that the problem that we had last week seems to be corrected, that things are much smoother now.
Yeah.
So we're wondering if there was a technical engineering thing that was going on the week we were on board, but it was very unstable. But hopefully that is fixed. Yeah.
Very good.
I see a couple of questions coming in too there. We see that
there's some further up.
KT had a question there. We're always so well dressed for dinner, especially formal nights. Did you notice people leaning towards casual? So how was the dress code and that feel on board?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There were quite a few people that were dressed up, but there was probably quite a few people that weren't either. There were some tuxes, not a whole lot, probably less than we've seen on other cruises lately. But there were quite a few women dressed up in gowns. Again, this is I guess I'm going to go on one of my pet peeves, because we were lining up to go into some venue and there was a woman in front of me in a full-on gown, like that you'll see me wear on a cruise. And her husband was wearing a polo shirt and a pair of shorts. As I can't, right? I couldn't understand that. So I'm very thankful I have a husband that'll put on a suit if I want to wear a long formal gown. But again, people wear what they're comfortable with wearing on cruise ships now. And we know that Jerry and I, are a little more formal than a lot of people on a cruise ship. You don't feel like you have to dress up as much as we do if you don't want to. I think you'll be fine wearing whatever you want.
Yeah, it was a big wide range. Actually, on both ships, the Celebrity and Princess, I would say there was everything from just kind of truly cruise casual with some slacks and a polo,
right,
all the way up to suits and tuxes on formal night.
Right.
But I'd say on the formal nights on both ships, I know the whole cruise business is moving away from the formal ways, that less and less suits, less and less tuxes. I find every cruise.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
for sure.
Beyond typical travel wants to know if there's any chance we're gonna do a Windstar cruise.
Ooh, yeah, that'd be nice.
So on that front, I have been pricing out a lot of new cruise lines. Some of them are kind of in that category. Windstar, Seabourn, we're looking at Regent Seven Seas.
Azamara,
we're looking at Oceania.
Yeah, we're dreaming. That's what we've been doing a lot of lately.
So we're trying to have that debate is, okay, do we do maybe a cruise or two less per year and throw in one that's a little more money and see if the experience is worth the extra $1? So,
right.
So that's kind of where we are, is trying to figure that out.
We're trying to open up our horizons.
I'm trying to change. See that?
Oh, yeah. As long as I can get him on a cruise ship with the same waiter and the same table every night, he'll be happy.
And Todd is saying that he noticed a younger crowd and busier nightlife on the Sun.
Okay. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. There was a lot of scooters, Todd. A lot of scooters on our cruise with us. So I don't know if it was just the week we were. And here's one thing I will say is I believe that the passageways and going to your cabins are narrower on the Sun than it is on any of the other Princess cruises. And so if you had a scooter coming at you, there was no escaping it. Like, I was hit by scooters trying to get as far away as I can from them, and still having them like catch my dress as I'm trying to walk by them. So that was an issue for sure.
Narrow hallways, right?
In the narrow hallways.
Yeah, for sure. Kevin is saying, thanks for the feedback. Feeling that he's going to stay with the older, more experienced Princess ships. He's not been drawn to these new ships. And that's kind of where I'm at with how I feel about this. It wasn't a bad cruise. Like, we're lucky to be able to cruise so often and be on beautiful ships like this. Mm-hmm. But it really wasn't my jam.
Right.
For that type of thing. Mm-hmm. And Mr. Bob wants to know, are we on a ship now? Well, we just got off the Sun Princess yesterday. So we're back home now. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And did we do set dining or my time on the Sun? Oh, this is a point of contention.
So when we booked this cruise, I tried my hardest to get set timing because I know what Mr. Canuck likes, and he wants to have the same waiter and the same dining and all of that. I couldn't, to any avail, get that booked. Nope. It wasn't available unless I wanted an 8:30 or 9 o'clock. 8:30, I think it was. It was a later setting.
We booked this a year ago. It wasn't like we booked this last minute and couldn't get.
Yeah. Anyways, we kept being told every time I tried to book something, every time I tried to call, that they were changing. And if you've been following along with Princess, they've changed how they're doing reservations and that. So they went through a whole system change in the summer. So I immediately tried to get reservations and couldn't get it. So
we basically had no dining anywhere.
Yeah.
Nope.
Oh, I thought you were going to say more.
So that steps into the specialty restaurant conversation, I guess. There's a lot of them. There's 9 of them on this ship, is what I've heard. Mm-hmm. And so we had the premier package. And so that's what we did. We went to premier dining. We had friends on board, patrons that were on board that had managed to get a 5 o'clock set dining time. Mm-hmm. So we were able to join. Luckily, they invited us for dinner on formal night in the dining room. So we joined them. And that was our only experience in the main dining room because we were able to make...
For dinner. We were there for lunch and breakfast also. So we did do a lot of specialty dining. But yeah, I don't know. So there was some crowds with the whole main dining thing, is what I'll say. So if you're able to get a set reservation, then you're one of the lucky ones. But there seemed to be there were hundreds of people that were saying that they were the same as what we were, where we couldn't lock down a reservation prior to getting on the ship. I guess that's what I'll say.
Yeah. And getting back to the comment about the older princess ships and the preferences, right? If they could take the Dome and drop it on all the other older ships, man, you're getting close to a perfect cruise line.
And there's lots more than just the Dome that was good there too, for sure. I mean, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And as far as food, like some of the menus have been tweaked, is what I would say. There's still a lot of the princess favorites are all on the menus, but they've
improved their menu, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's a couple of new things. Yeah, for sure. And the new specialty dining, we tried out some really new ones that are only available on this ship. We tried the Butcher's Block by Dario.
We did.
That was like this meat extravaganza.
and I'll just give you the gist of it. If I had to pick the Crown Grill over this Butcher Block by Daria, I would go to the Crown Grill. This Butcher Block was an interesting dining experience, and watch the vlog to see what it's like when you come out. But it was very strange. Is the best way I can describe it.
We did Umai Hot Pot.
Loved that.
So I loved it too. I think I would have loved it a lot more if it was in a different venue from the Tapanaki.
Yeah, so the Tapanaki tables, the hot grills where the chefs come out and cook and they do a whole show for everybody. That was happening behind us. And we couldn't get reservations for that. I tried to get reservations for that, but couldn't. But anyways, I was able to get reservations for the hot pot, which was beautiful. But it would, like Jerry said, it would have been nice if it was in its own separate area, just because the volume of the crowd and the singing and the whole show that was going on behind us sort of took away from our dining experience.
Chris is saying that the Lido food options are great as well. So yes, there are some new options on the Lido deck. One of them is the taco shawarma area.
Loved the shawarma. Yeah, went back and had more because it was so good.
So they took away the salty dog grill, and they've just got what's called the Lido grill now, is what they've done there.
Where you still get burgers and hot dogs and that sort of fare.
And so what I had a disconnect with that experience only because of the layout of the ship. So there was the Lido options there, and sometimes it's like hot and like 30 some odd degrees and humidity and you're dying. You go grab a burger or a piece of pizza or a taco in this case, and you say, I'm going to go into the buffet area and eat it in the air conditioning, right?
Right.
You couldn't do that on this ship because the buffet was on deck 9 and the Lido was on deck 17.
But on deck 9, where you have the buffet, you can go out onto the promenade and they have a pizza oven cooking out there where you can get fresh pizza. You can go on the opposite side of the buffet and you can go to an outdoor burger place there. So they have pizza up on the pool deck, but also on deck 9. All of that is included. And then at the back of the buffet, they have the All-American restaurant where you go in and you're seated just like you're going to a restaurant. It's not, and it's all included in your fare. And I really enjoyed that menu too. And that's a new added bonus to the Sun Princess. And I think it's a fabulous addition that they've added.
And I'm just seeing here, looking for some more comments. Those chicken tacos are phenomenal.
There you go.
And I'm just trying to see I'm just trying to explore. A couple of people are recommending other cruise lines we should go on. The Lido, I guess the only problem with your concept is that there's no shawarma on deck 9 to go inside and eat it. So
no. Well, and what we found, like we did one day, it was nice, cool breeze. Our last sea day coming back to Florida, it was beautiful to eat outside. It wasn't too hot. There was a nice, anyway, so we enjoyed our lunch outside. It was wonderful. And all of a sudden I said, now I feel like something sweet. But to go to the buffet to get something for dessert was far away. And I mean, they did have an ice cream place out there and a lot of people ate there. I'm not a huge ice cream person. If I have it once a year, that's enough for me. So that's never really my go-to. I just want it like a brownie or something like that. So here we were tracing back into the, checking out the International Cafe for something sweet, and anyways, ended up making our way to the buffet, even though we ate outside already because I wanted a sweet thing.
So I saved the best for last.
Oh, yeah.
And that is the one thing that bothered you the most about the Sun Princess.
Okay.
And the one thing that I always have raved about Princess is their theater shows have been some of my best favorite ever on cruise experiences. They have totally destroyed the main theater experience.
Yeah, it would be my biggest complaint about the Sun Princess, and it would be the only thing that would make me hesitate booking back on the Sun Princess was the main theater. I love the main theater shows, love going, and especially on a formal night where they put on their grand shows like the rock opera, all that sort of thing. I'm there. I've seen the rock opera quite a few times, and I will watch it another dozen times if I'm on a cruise ship with it. I love it that much. But this main theater is so small that we got to the show 35 minutes beforehand, and people were having to be divided up in groups to get seats. We had the premier package, so they did have reserved seating for us, but we were so late in getting there at 35 minutes before the show that we were the third row from the back of the theater off to the side. And so yeah, the show, you didn't get the right feel of it. The other thing was, because you're on the side, you're seeing the side of the performers the whole time, because they were still performing like they were on a straight ahead show, and so they were looking right here, but most of your audience is over on either side. So that was, yeah, I did not love the main theater. Not enough seating, and the seating that was there was really tight, squeezed in seating.
Yeah, very disappointing. So yeah, the talent and the shows that we did see there, we saw one show. It was phenomenal. It was a Latin show. I really, really enjoyed it. I felt I was watching it in the wrong theater, though. I wish it would have been in a more traditional theater. I would have really thought it was one of the better princess shows. So it definitely took away. Yeah, I don't imagine they're going to change that in the Star, but you know, it's unfortunate, because I think that was one of the things that Princess did really good was main theater shows, and they kind of took that away. Yeah,
I hope they find a solution to that. I'm not sure what the solution is. I do know that they are still going through growing pains. I mean, we went to the captain's reception, and he quite honestly said that this is a new style of cruise ship for them, and they are still going through growing pains and trying to learn and change things up to make things work better than what the idea of it was. And they're seeing things that are working well, and they're seeing things that aren't working well. The captain was very honest about, what this first inaugural season of the Sun Princess is, and he says, they're changing things, and they have. We saw things change throughout the week while we were there. They were changing things up. So I think that they'll make improvements to some of the stuff that they're struggling with, and hopefully it just gets better. But there are some wonderful, phenomenal things about it. One of the things I loved the most, which is a little thing, is their smart elevators. We have been on cruises before with smart elevators that, I don't know, seemed like they weren't smart, and they were never working, and it was always packed full, and you had to take the stairs all the time. That did not happen on this cruise. I would say the majority of the time we would press the button of what floor we wanted to go to, and it would just be us in the elevator, or maybe one other couple. They were never packed. There was lots of elevators, plenty of them, no line for that. So I appreciated that thing, especially because it is such a big ship. And we were up high on our deck, for a while. We were up on deck 16. We later moved. But anyways, you want to be able to access an elevator when you need it.
And some people have asked about whether or not we felt the crowds. I certainly felt the crowds at times. I feel there's a lot of space used for specialty dining and less lounge space. So there's less areas to kind of spread people out around the ship. What terrified me a little bit, though, is, and the captain kind of pointed this out in his talk, is that this ship holds almost 2,000 less people than the same class of ship for Carnival.
Yes.
So if you're going on the Mardi Gras or the celebration, there's like almost 2,000 more people on this exact same frame of a ship.
Yeah.
And I couldn't imagine the crowds there.
We couldn't imagine that, because there were times where we thought the crowds were bad on Sun Princess. Not all the time, but there were times. And so imagining 2,000 more people, that'd be crazy.
Yeah, for sure. And just see Brian making a comment there, we'll be in the Sun Princess and a little bit worried. And I guess the way I would frame it in closing is that we've always said there's different ships and different experiences for everybody. And some people like one thing and some people another. So I might not like some of the things that were changed in Sun Princess, but we ran into kind of this interesting mix on board. There's people that loved it. They absolutely loved the new changes, and it was their thing. Some people are like, I'm not sure if I really like the new changes. I'm not sure if I'm used to it, right? So I wouldn't be afraid to go on the Sun Princess if you never tried it and see if it's your thing.
I feel like we sort of went and did a different style of cruise than what we normally do. We've cruised so often, we have our routine. We go for dinner, we go to the production show, we do whatever. Because we had not a great experience in the one production show that we went to, and we didn't want to go through the fighting of the crowds, we just cruised differently. Yeah. And so we went to the pub for entertainment. We went to Princess Live a little bit more. We went to up to the Dome for quite a few different things, all that sort of stuff. So it got us maybe doing things more that we normally don't do on a cruise, which was probably a good thing. Scary for Jerry.
Okay, so we're going to stop it there. We're well over time, but I want to make sure we got all we could into telling you all about Sun Princess especially, and a little bit of the effects.
I mean, there's still more we can say and a little bit more detail we could go into, but we are going to sort of make a video on that.
Yeah, we're going to make some videos.
We're going to do a recorded video of sort of the pros and cons, and
Yeah, we gave you a sneak peek today. So, but there'll be more videos coming out talking in more detail about all these different things. And plus, there's the daily vlogs, and you can see all that, all about us changing our cabin mid-cruise. That happened.
Yeah.
And a whole bunch of different things that we experienced while we were on board.
We tried to show a little bit more of what it looked like, you know, so you'll see us around the pool deck and the craziness of that for a few snippets here and there, and then the quietness of the dome, just to see the different options you have at your.
Oh, so we'll call it there. Thanks everybody for joining today. And we will not be back next week. We have family commitments that we're going to be off for next weekend.
That's right.
So the next live will be in 2 weeks.
It will be. So if you're an American, we wish you guys a happy Thanksgiving this upcoming week. Enjoy your holidays with your family and friends. And everybody else have a wonderful week also. And we will see you in a couple of weeks.
Thanks for joining everybody.
Bye.
Bye.